Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Wassa Wassa from the Wassa Wassa Show, and I'm here with my co-host.
Steven's Universe. No copyright infringement at all. None. What's up?
Hey, what's up? I gotta ask you, what's up with the universe? What's up with the Avatar? You know, I
Well,
mean, it's awesome, dude. It's awesome.
I'm claiming it now. You know what I mean? There's a whole cartoon called Steven's Universe, and I'm claiming it now. Like this is me. I'm claiming it. And the universe thing, as you can see over my shoulder, there's the whole world. And why stop there? Why stop there? We gonna take over. It's just me now. I am going to live in this digital space now. I need to talk to the metaverse too and see if I can get on there before they get going because this is me now.
It's cool, man. You know what I'm saying? It really is. I gotta get my what's up? I gotta get my avatar up in here one of these days, man.
I'm telling you, 1995. I got you. I got you.
You're tempting me. You're tempting me because lately, man, I've been trying to. I was like, yo, wow, I don't got it. I don't get it. I was trying earlier before, and I couldn't get the avatar. I was like, oh shoot, what's going on? But the 1995 is starting to feel tempting.
Right, right. I mean, only 21.95. It's not that bad. It's not that bad a thing for I can help you out. 25.99 is something that we could definitely work out over 3 years.
You're going out.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
And
You know
but
what I
we
mean?
also got our co-host Roxy Rios. She'll be tapping in our interview with Carasaf later on in our second part of our segment. She'll be coming on at that part of the Wassa Wassa show, man. So what's been going on, man. How you feeling? What's your feeling and your opinion about this Tupac? They finally caught the killer.
Yo, I heard that they arrested Diddy recently. I don't know what it was for, but I heard they arrested Diddy. I don't know. I mean, it might have been something like a parking ticket, but it was a hell of a time to be arrested. This week. That's that's some coincidence type of stuff. It's kind of like when you got trafficking charges or something, and they pull you over in like parking court or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that's the hell of a time to be arrested, man. That's all. He been doing absolutely nothing that I know of for the last 10 years. Absolutely nothing. And then the week that we announced that we found out Tupac's killer, he gets arrested.
For parking ticket.
Allegedly. I don't know what it's for, but
Mm-hmm.
I would be paying for every Cinnabon that I ate at the mall, everything just so I don't get in trouble this week. This week. Of all the
I,
things that you've done, no.
and I know there was some rumors about him being indicted, but I believe it came off an individual's website, and what they did was they coincided with the arrest, and then they say he was indicted, but he was never indicted. It was actually a hoax. But now that you're saying, I gotta look into that. About him being arrested. I would like to find out what was all that about. Matter of fact, I can do a little research. If I could.
Yeah, yeah, do some research. I don't know, 100%. I haven't seen the video, and even if I saw the video, I may not believe the video. Technology is a monster right now, so yeah, I'll have to the DNA test, some footage. His mama escorting him, to the courthouse. I'd have to see know the officer's birth record. The technology is doing things right now that I don't know if I could even believe it if I saw it. I watched a movie, a couple years ago with Will Smith fighting his younger self. So anything's possible.
It's true. I mean, this digital world, man, is going crazy.
I love it though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love it though. I wish we would have had digital stand-ins like this, in my previous marriage. I wish. I wish. Lord knows. I'd have showed up to court just like this.
Well, no, I mean, from so far, I don't see anything. The only thing that comes up is he was arrested, on September 6th of 1996.
Okay,
Right
yeah,
after.
that's 96, man. That's long gone.
Yeah, what I'm saying, and that was the only time that so far that he's been arrested. I don't see anything. You know what I'm saying? Anything new.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if it's true or not. Like I said, I heard a couple things, heard a couple posts. I don't know what's going on. And this world is. I always like to say we live in an age where the speed of technology and the speed of information are not the same.
But that dude Davis though that was arrested, he just messed himself up, man. I mean, he messed himself up. Um,
Man, he better pull a Takashi. I'm telling you that. He better start talking to everybody, just everything and everybody.
it's crazy how you gonna, it's like he was arrested before as a conspirator to Tupac's death. And they gave him an immunity for him to reveal and talk about the actions and everything that took place leading to Tupac's death. And then so they gave him an immunity. But then according to the indictment records, and that he now, after he was given immunity, he went out of the immunity plea bargain and started talking about it. So he actually got arrested now for Tupac's death because he opened his mouth. He started, I killed Tupac. He went out there, started, ramming his mouth, and which led to the district attorney looking into the new evidence and having him indicted, and now he's arrested. It's like OJ, writing a book of what if I would have done it. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these guys are just like, dude, I don't know. He just indicted
Yo,
his own self.
so this has got to be in the top three of the most bonehead plays of all time. This literally has to be because for you to the death of Tupac's been one of the biggest hip hop mysteries in hip hop history. Okay, you got people to this day claiming that they still saw him or that he see him in Cuba and Jamaica, and you got people to this day, man, saying that they see this guy, hot now that he's still putting out music. You got people to this day, and you want to admit to killing him at this point
What?
in
What?
time.
That's his song. That was his last, almost one of his last songs too. Machiavelli, no?
Yeah, I mean it was, but like he had other stuff recorded, and Snoop bought it. But the thing is like, man, to this day, you had people still saying that they were eyewitnesses, that there was conspiracy theories that he was still alive. Hell, Suge Knight was even still admitting that he was still alive and he faked his death. And of all the shit and people, you want to admit to killing them. You could have literally got away with it.
he
You
was
could
he
have
was
got away with it.
but he
Seriously.
was dumb anyway, because I mean, he should have looked over his indictment. I mean, he should have just kept his mouth shut. I mean, I so many people trying to get fame off the most dumbest things that it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out in the long run. And I think he's learning that now, because now they prosecuted him, and so many people for so many years. I mean, they had conspiracy with Shook Knight, they had conspiracy with Pete Diddy, but nobody pulling the trigger and admitting to everybody who was in the vehicle, not like this clown. You know what I'm saying? Now they got him. Now they got him because he was given evidence that weren't even in the indictment when he first got arrested or in the plea bargain, which that's what led the DA to say, yeah, we got him now, because he was just out in the streets like it's nothing. Like he didn't read his immunity, and and his lawyer should just slapped him and said, yo, shut the hell up.
You caught me mid drinking. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah, there's some things that you just shouldn't talk about, and that's one of them. It's murder should be at the top of the list. But
Yeah.
speaking of like, I know this is a sidebar, but speaking of like murder, there's a whole thing on what is it, Netflix right now? It's like the Zodiac killer and how it's like a myth, the Zodiac myth. Yo,
So,
that's so
uh-huh.
interesting. What look that up? That is so interesting. That show would I watched like all of it, and it's so interesting. Like the reason that we never found who the Zodiac killer was is because he didn't exist, and how like it, man, watch it. Just watch it. It's I love things that expand the mind and expand your
But I thought
thinking
there
and
was a Zodiac killer.
Watch that documentary, man. That was pretty expansive. I think they found out who it was, but like I'm not sure. Watch that, and then because I don't really have an affliction for like serial killers. I don't have anything like that, but I find the psychology very interesting. I find the lore and like have you ever heard of H. Holmes?
Yes.
Yo, watch everything you can. Like I think Hulu did a documentary about that too, and there's a game coming out or that came out called The Devil Inside Me or something like that. It's
Uh-huh.
absolutely amazing to like to put in perspective. They put H. Holmes. There's like a thing now to where they're thinking H. Holmes was Jack the Ripper,
Hmm.
and that's crazy, man. There's just the ideas and stuff that was going on
Is,
during that time. But I
but
digress.
is it opinion conspiracy thought, or is actually like the documentary's putting facts together?
Well, one of the facts that they put in that we have time for is that some of the letters that he signed as H. Holmes, right?
Hmm.
Because he had the whole murder hotel, and the letters that he signed as Jack the Ripper. They had one of those guys that analyze handwriting.
Handwriting. Hmm.
Yeah, and they said that it was the same.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah.
But and
So
where can I see these documentaries at? Now that you're saying that.
um I was watching Netflix and Hulu, late nights and was doing that kind of stuff. But we could get all kinds into, the things that I watch. I watch, problems and puzzles and solving things. I like to take these deep trips like ancient aliens and I take these deep dives, man, and like the pyramids in like Mexico, right?
Right,
Like where
right.
the Mayans were, right? They're flat. They're
Hmm.
flat, right? So the theory is that they're flat because they were used as airports.
Hmm.
Let that sink in. They're flat for landing for launch pads. So you're telling me that there's a theory that the Egyptians were building airplanes and flying around. That's that's nuts. That's
Right.
nuts.
Hmm.
So they found an artifact or whatever in Egypt, and they thought it was just a toy until they analyzed it, and turns out that it was 100% aerodynamic and could fly. Yeah, let that sink in. So your history books are wrong. Like stuff like that. It just amazes me. Like how did they do this? Who taught them this? How did you accelerate that far in technology? It like I'm amazed by that stuff, and if you are as well, there's another show that I'm going to give like two thumbs up to. Watch Lupin on Netflix, and I'm amazed by everything that this show has done and accomplished in a storytelling aspect. Watch Lupin. I am thoroughly impressed and hope they continue that show.
We'll be right back right after these quick messages. We'll return with the Wassa Wassa Show.
Hey, what's up? This your boy Locks. Yeah, that's right, it's still Locks. I want you to join me, my homeboy Ray, and our new co-host, Roxy, on the Wassa Wassa Show. Wassa Wassa.
Hey, welcome back to the Wassa Wassa Show. This is your host, Wassa Wassa, with my co-host, Leland Sanders from the universe, and my other co-host, Roxy Reels, where we have a nice interview with Carasaf, the bachata artist Carasaf. She's back with him right now, preparing and keeping him company while me and Lee kick the Willy Bobo up here. But now coming back from our great sponsors and our commercial, continue with this documentary thing here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of stuff out there. I love watching like the weirdest and the strangest stuff. Not weird as in like, McCamey House, which don't look that up if you don't know what that is. Don't do that. But not weird as like that, but like just thought provoking, deep psychological stuff, man. I love watching like the psychology and behavioral things with people. I love watching that.
Well, wouldn't you
No,
be? But isn't it a little bit close to conspiracies?
no. I don't really care for conspiracies, that have like no proof or hypotheticals or, hypotheses. I don't really care for that kind of stuff. I care for, like, there's a show. I don't deal with reality shows or anything like that. But there is one show that was a reality show that I absolutely binge watched. Um, and it was called The Traitors. Yeah, yeah, that's what it's called. It was called The Traitors.
This sounds
I
familiar.
watched I watched every episode of every version in every language that they like I watched every bit of it because it was so diabolical to watch how people turn on each other in such a like close fashion.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. The premise of the show, if you've ever seen or played the game Among Us, you know about that?
No.
Okay. So it's basically there were like 20 people, right? And 20 people like just get introduced. They're inside of this castle. They have like the stereotypical survivor show slash last person standing, setup. You do
Oh yeah,
games,
yeah. I heard about that. Yeah, yeah.
right? You do that kind of stuff. But there's like three people that are conspiring against you actively the entire time, setting you up. So
Right.
not only do you have to like win cash and win the games and win the prizes, but then there's people that are like there. You have to try to figure out which ones they are at the same time as they get to write you off the show like one person every night. And
Mm-hmm.
then you as a whole get to vote off somebody that you think is a traitor every night. So every night two people leave, and it was just so interesting to sit there and watch how people were manipulating the entire story or the narrative, how they were manipulating the games, how they were manipulating emotion, how they were looking for opportunities to like just absolutely. And then the three traders, they start turning on each other. So even the traders can't trust the traders, while the faithfuls can't trust either. It was just like, man, it was just so interesting to watch like the human psychology break down, even though they're forced to, and they
Right.
know in 24 hours, two people are going to be gone.
So they
So
they
they
got
were
a
trying to.
quick think. They got a quick think about it.
Oh yeah, yeah, and while they're trying to hunt and sniff people out, you may look accusing or you may look like the suspect or you may look. So it was so interesting just to watch how people were lying flat out. Like there was this one guy who brought his girlfriend to the show, and the whole time he was trying not to let people know that it was his girlfriend when other guys were hitting on his girlfriend in front of him. You know what I'm saying? but it was just like it was so interesting just to watch the psychology of like everything. And I'm a chess player by nature, and I just thought it was amazing. Like, wow, the steps, the thing that these guys were doing just to make somebody else look guilty.
Right.
It was just amazing. So I don't really watch too many reality shows, and like my wife watches 90 Day Fiance and stuff like that. I could care less. I have no
Uh,
idea.
I don't even
I could
have
care
time to be
less.
watching some shows, but I
I
do
could
love
care less.
documentaries. I'll tell you that. But I do love documentaries. Stuff about pyramids, even animals. I just love to the knowledge that I can get from it. It's sometimes amazing. I really feel I like to go to bed at night, and there's two things I like to do. One, if I'm gonna watch something, it's gonna be a documentary, or two, it's gonna be some comedy. You know what I'm saying? I gotta watch. I got one of those two. I can go to bed. Go to sleep and be relaxed. The thing about Documentaries, I love documentaries that would teach me something or have me going, you know, finding, wanting more, and to study more, and to educate myself more on that topic. You know, um, I don't like documentaries. It's kind of like they just bored one, two, three things, and it makes no sense. I like, documentaries that expand your mind, like make you start really to think, wow, how the individuals were thinking at the moment, the capabilities, what they used, and just even documentaries on animals, not the same, oh, well, this is a tiger, he got spots. I'm talking about deep, things about, the species or the animal, things that I do not know, that it would be uh, uh impossible, not impossible, but it would take some deep reading for me to find out these facts. Like one of the things that I learned, and it's on the Roku device. Um uh it's called Life Undersea at Dark, or Life at Night. And all the things that come to life while we're going to sleep, all these creatures and animals and insects and everything that come out at night, and even under the sea, that which everybody thinks is so dark, which it is, but so much light is down there at night. All these living creatures that produce light under the sea. And I was amazed about that. The plants, the animals, the insects, the crawfishes, all these animals that light up in the dark. And I was wondering, I was like, I always wonder, can there be life down there? And there is, all these organisms that survive under all that pressure, you know. Um, and they live, and there's, and there's prey, and there's, hunters in the I'm talking about miles and miles under the sea, you know. And just on top of, in the forest, all the creatures and animals and how they live, documentaries like that I like, you know what I'm saying? Even about science, even about history, there's a lot of things that you can learn off the documentaries. I do like enjoying documentaries, you know. Conspiracy theories, it's it's kind of tricky, you know what I'm saying? Because conspiracy theories, that's what it is. They try to open up your mind to another point of view, or sometimes they do have proof of a situation that occurred, which, let's put it like this, not that occurred, but it's scientifically proven that that's the way it occurs. But the bad thing about conspiracy theories, or, is that nothing happens, I'll say, nothing can occur twice the same way. For me, nothing. This is my opinion. Like, we could tell a story, and we could tell it three times, but by the time it gets to the fourth, by the second time, it's already changing. You can never tell it, twice the same way. You can never do it three times the same way, and that's what I think happens in the world, and that's where the conspiracy analysts jump in that, because if they say, well, if you tap this bottle, it's supposed to, if you tap this bottle, it falls straight flat down, and that's the way it's supposed to land. Scientifically, that's the way it should occur, you know, but they don't take into account, if it, for one crazy reason, the bottle does not fall exactly flat, and it stays up in the air a little bit right away. That's not the way it's supposed to happen. That is a conspiracy. Somebody had a finger there, all that. And for me, conspiracy theorists, they just take an opportunity and open up and try to say that that did not occur because um, it can't happen, And for me, things can happen 1,000 ways. That's why you got a lot of conspiracy with 9/11. They say, well, you can't bring a building like that. Yeah, yes, you can, and it doesn't take freaking dynamite to do it. As a matter of fact, if you've been watching the war that's going on with Israel and Hamas right now, you can actually see that a missile hit one building and the other building just came straight down, just like 9/11. And when I watched it, I was like, well, there goes the conspiracy theory of, that it was dynamite, because it actually, the building just came straight down, boom. And the missile was not at that building, it was at another building. And that building came straight down when it felt the impact of that missile. And it came down like it was a organized uh how you call that one? Demolishment, So that's what I feel about conspiracy theories. It's just they get an opportunity because it doesn't fall or land exactly how 90% of the time it occurs. You know, that's my opinion.
One of my favorite and most anticipated travel plans in my life is Mount Olympus. And you're probably wondering, how in the world did I get to this from what you just said? Um, it's because Mount Olympus it's a real place, but it also exists in mythology.
Okay.
That's what I love about mythology and the Greek mythology is
Uh-huh.
because so much of it really exists and so much of it we can't prove. We can't, that's connected to the conspiracy things. In Greek mythology, Mount Olympus is where all the Greek gods used to hang out and go. But yet here we have an actual place called Mount Olympus. So what happened there, like what's going on. The I want to say a few years ago, but it's been like decades now. They excavators and archaeologists found a temple that was buried in the sand. I don't know if you're aware of it. They found a temple that was buried in the sand, and turns out it was a Greek temple. So they were like, "Oh, what is this?" They started digging it out, carefully excavating everything, making sure that they didn't tear up everything, they didn't destroy everything, you know. And when they found out what it was, this is what shocks you. They found out what it was. It was the temple to Hades.
Hmm.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Because immediately I was like, cover it right back up. Just let it go, cover it right back up. Because if it first of all, it was buried for a reason. I don't know why, but it was buried for a reason. And even if it's mythology, the doors were sealed. What let's leave them sealed. Don't open it. So turns out that they did open it, and there were toxic fumes that were stashed in there
Oh.
to where like the pigeons died upon entry. They sent in like some birds or whatever, and they died upon entry. So once again, mythology is just so much fun
Uh,
because it has to
and in
exist
it,
from somewhere.
it talks about, I mean, there's so many things there. Um, and it's funny how you say that because it's Greek mythology, but yet they're finding these temples and the connections to these stories. But then again, um, these Greek mythologies go back thousands of years. So I will have to look at the timeline between, what the archaeologists find and the time they think to the Greek mythology story. You see what I'm
I'm
saying?
I hear you, but I'm never this curious. Like I'm a very curious person, but I'm
Mhm.
never this curious. Like literally think about this for a second. Let's say me and you go camping, right? Let's say me and you camping. First of all, it's a disaster already waiting to happen. There's two ethnic people going camping in the woods, so there's already a problem
But
that's happening. But
why are you saying it's a problem? Why?
it is a
Why?
problem. It's a problem. Something's not right. It's already a problem. So let's say we go camping, right? And we find a spot that is the entrance to the underworld. in books or whatever. We're not going any further. I
Yeah,
don't care what you.
but
We're
that's
not going any
accurate.
further.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, even if it's hypothetical and we just stumble across it, we're not going there.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
what you're telling me is that they found the gates to Hades
Yeah,
and they
but you
still opened the door. That's
but you said it. You kind of said it there. Who opened it?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
I'm
who
literally
opened
just.
it?
It wasn't American, people, but like I don't because it was overseas. But anyway, the point of it is that sometimes you can push fate, sometimes
Hmm.
you can push it. I if I open my closet right now and I see Narnia on the other side, I'm gonna close my closet. I'm not even gonna go through there because I don't want to. I don't even want to know. I was like, I'm good. You know what? I'm good. I don't even want to see this. I have no desire whatsoever to see this. I'm gonna close the closet and then move. Like just and that closet will be up for sale on Facebook Marketplace within 3 minutes. Like, hey, I'm done. I'm not even trying to ask anything is over. I'm just saying, like it's to test that kind of stuff, and then when we see it, it's amazing to me,
Hmm.
but I still wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. And it's one thing to have Mount Olympus,
Hmm.
but it's a whole nother thing to because even if you don't believe in Hades and what it represents, there
Okay,
was a
so
there was a
and that note,
temple that was made.
I don't mean to cut you off. You know that in that sense, this happened a couple of years. They found from aerial cameras, okay, and satellite images, supposedly this um arc broke
Hmm.
kind of on top of a mountain. The image
Yep,
of it.
yep,
What
yep.
do you feel about that? Do you feel that's conspiracy is just the mountain sometimes take the shape of something? Um, what do you feel about that? Now that you're talking about Hades and Mount Olympus.
I totally believe that there's truth because there's like wood dated that was on like Mount Everest or something. There
Hmm.
was wood like dated and analyzed that pointed back to the ark and
Hmm.
the time that the ark would have. So like I totally believe, it's just kind of crazy, like, in the lore that the world flooded to that level. The
Hmm.
world flooded to that level that's where it crashed or that's where it resides. Like that just puts that in perspective for you. Like, wow, it's so much to take in. But it also logically and scientifically there's a reason for it. Just as there's the same. I mean,
Exactly.
it's just as there's like a dude that apparently decided he wanted to go out in how do I say this, a pleasurable fashion from Pompeii when
Hmm.
when the city,
Yeah.
it's hey, whatever happened, buddy, like that's decided he decided he wanted to go that way, what I mean? But it's just kind of funny, but at the same time it's like, hey, this is, here's the proof, here's the evidence. Other than that, how can you explain wood planks dated to that time on top of the mountain? How else can you explain that? I'm waiting. Unless the aliens decided to build their ships out of wood, I don't really have another answer for you. I
Hmm.
don't. So I think it's very interesting to see this kind of stuff and understand this kind of stuff. But
The,
I digress. That's me.
that I mean, the reason I tell you that, this is one of the theories that I've heard. They was like, well, how this image, and I'm gonna say image. I'm not gonna the image of a boat on top of a mountain. Now volcanoes erupt and they make eventually uh go to sleep or they die, you know. And one of the guys was saying that, well, this could have been a regular boat on land, a volcano with some type of millions of years, it erupted, or and that boat was or the image or whatever it was, the wood, the house, whatever he's trying to say, lifted up with the volcano or the lava or the eruption that could have occurred millions and millions of years ago. And because of that, um, the image is there. Mountains are formed. The way he said, mountains are formed. They were formed. So whichever way they were formed, it had to come from the bottom up, not up down. So whatever it was bringing up, it took with it to the mountains. And that's just this is where I say some people come up with things, and I'm like, but it still makes you think. If you look scientifically, yeah, mountains are made. I mean, I can't tell you point to point how a mountain that high was made, but it makes you think. Okay, yeah, that could be a logical explanation. What do you see? What do you see that?
I have no logic past my knowledge. I really don't. It's to me, I'm going to say something like totally radical and left brain. I just thought about it. Like, aliens exist, right? To whatever capacity we don't know. As far as we know, aliens could be underneath the water right now because we haven't explored our oceans to the point that we even know what's around. And if
That's
anybody can survive the complexities and pressure of space, they can survive the pressure of our waters.
correct.
So, that's the thought for you. I don't know. I mean, that's a hypothetical for you right there. Like they supposedly found Atlantis finally, and
mm,
there's supposed to be proof and evidence of that. I don't know, but I'm saying that we can't rule that out either. There's so much of, even in our own world, that we don't know. We have no clue. Like I watched a documentary about the world's most dangerous poisonous animals, and it was 2 hours long. Two
mm.
hours long, and like an hour and 30 minutes was all in Australia. Like what? Like I just what are we doing here? Like I'm glad I'm not there, but the point of it is that we're still trying to figure out stuff on Earth. We're still
Yeah.
trying to figure out things on Earth. We're still trying to figure out what dinosaurs all the way look like and their behaviors, and we have no clue.
Okay.
We are
Now this is wow, and you just before you started talking about space and all that, and real quick, man, what are you thinking about the footsteps on the moon? That's bringing a lot of controversy right now with Neil Armstrong's boots that supposedly he wore, and they're at the museum, um, that they don't match.
look.
Have you heard about that?
Look, the pressure on the moon and whatever else that could be different. I tell you what, the only way I can answer this is you get Neil deGrasse Tyson on here. You get him to like be on the show, and we could talk to him about that. I would have no idea because he would have a better explanation about what it is and the way it looks and what happened. He would have a better explanation. Me, no, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even begin to understand what footprints and looks like in zero gravity. I wouldn't even, you know what I'm saying? I
No,
wouldn't even
but
begin to be able to say that. That's
the famous footprint they had grooves on the moon, right? The famous footprint, and the boots that are at the Smithsonian Museum have are flat. They're just flat, no grooves, nothing to make grooves, nothing at all. It has a round circle on the bottom of the boots, and I was looking at it, and I was like, shoot, man, they got me thinking right now. I mean, they really had me thinking because there is no way these boots could have made the prints that are famously known to be the first steps on the moon.
let me stop
Now,
you.
that got me thinking.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Everything that we know as people, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
basing it off of our truth, right? Our truth exists like, air, gravity, water. Like those are our truths, and we believe in those and we think in those kind of constructs. But we're talking about the moon. We're talking about the gravity is either non-existent or it gravitates towards the earth, or like we don't know that's not a common thought for us. So to him, it could have been like walking on the ceiling upside down. The footprints are not going to look the same. Or maybe the pressures of what he put and when he jumped off of it is why it looks like it has grooves. We don't know that. Because we're not it's not common thought for us to operate in a society without gravity or without you know what I mean? Like that's not common thought for us. We don't know that.
Right.
And to associate that, that's just kind of like crazy. People try to relate things that are beyond them. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I'll never know what it's like to be a woman. I can't begin to tell you how things think or what a period feels like, or I can't even begin to tell you that, or to try to relate it to the idea that I'm having a stomach cramp. I
Right.
can't even begin to tell you that. So, as ridiculous as that sounds, we're talking about a planetary galactic situation because the footprints don't match up.
Oh
You
no.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm a person, I look at things, but this really got me thinking, man, and it just spooked to my mind a little bit. I was like, well, you know what? We was at a time where things were really stressed out, and maybe they needed something um, to change things around. You know what I'm saying? But it really did put me in a thinking mood. I was like, man, first was the flag. I
Let's
mean,
get Neil on here. That's it. Let's get Neil on here, and we can have this whole discussion.
all right,
And
I'll
I'll
leave
be
you. I'll leave you that project. How's that? You find
Yeah.
it.
Let's get Neil on here, and we got to talk to him because some of the things he says, I watch him. I watch some of his shows and stuff like that, and about the things that keeps him up at night about time relative and space and how time moves differently for people at different speeds of light and how we beam back satellite information at a forward or an advanced so
Hmm.
that it seems relative to the time that we have now. It just, I mean, he amazes me. So like that kind of stuff, yeah. Let's just get him on if we can figure that out. Let's do that. Let's figure out if he has 20 minutes for us. I would be appreciative of that man right there. But can I switch gears because I didn't get a chance to like really tell you guys or tell you the other day there's something that bothered me. We
Oh,
were
sure.
talking about the yeah we were talking about the ladies football league, and I didn't get to go to complete my little rant there that we were talking about that.
All right, well, just shoot from the beginning, man, because right now, you got probably everybody lost, with your little rant. So I want to hear about this rant.
Okay, all right. So women's sports. Let me be clear. Let me be perfectly clear. I watch all sports. Whenever they're on, I watch them. I don't care what it is. I watch them. Now, let me say this in all due respect. In all due respect, um, please bring the ladies football league back.
Well,
Please,
I mean, the
please.
women's football league. It's been a while. I haven't seen it, but I think they weren't making any money. Believe it or not.
I
I mean, at one
I
point they did. I feel that at one point they did because um, of I would say a lot of single men.
yeah. Like I get that part. I really get that part, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and tell you this. Like I am one of the few that didn't really care about what they were wearing or looking at them for that reason.
Hmm.
I'm going to be like, don't get me wrong, pun intended, there were some nice assets on the field, but that's not what I really cared about. What I really cared about was the athletic competition and prowess of the sport. I really cared about that just as much as I like watching like the women's soccer team. They're very energetic. They're very, spontaneous. They have like a lot of competitive modes. It's just as, entertaining to watch as the men's when we're talking about soccer, because soccer's that kind of sport. You
Right.
know what I mean? Soccer is that kind of sport. So football, if all the people or participants are equally athletic, it's that kind of sport. It really is.
So what do you think that made them take it off because
I
if
have
you
no
really look
idea.
at it at the skills, you know what I'm saying? You got women's softball, you got women's baseball, women's basketball, women's volleyball, women's soccer. You know, what do you do? Oh, what do you know about them taking it off?
I don't know why they took it off. I don't know what happened, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you like there's the WNBA, there's a lot more technical skill involved in the WNBA than there is in, the NBA. I feel like when I'm watching the WNBA, they're on point with their plays, their passings, their skills. Like they have assassins for strict and strictly 3 pointers, and assassins for this and that. It's broken down to like a chess match, and you get to see that unfold. That's very interesting and it's nice to watch. The NBA is more of you got different grooves, different teams, different feels, different vibes, and things you can't stop. It's a little bit more of a power struggle in the NBA. They'll draft a
Mhm.
couple of people that fit these roles, and then these roles do these things, and then they win. It's to me, it's like the NBA is entertaining, but it hasn't been the same since like Jordan and Dwayne Wade. Like in my personal opinion, like Dwayne Wade was not the greatest NBA player of all time, but he willed himself to be like one of the greater, NBA players because his stats didn't match up to what he did and he performed.
Right.
He just willed himself to be a better player. And that's what Jordan did, but Jordan did it consistently. You know what I mean? So it was like I watched that kind of stuff, but the WNBA has to do it, as a total, as a team, as a whole effort. They have to like mold. It was interesting to watch. Now, there is something called buns and basketball, which is absolute garbage compared to the WNBA. In personal opinion, I know the buns and basketball thing is meant to do what it's meant to do. I
Right.
understand, like that's what it's meant to do, but as a sport, as a competitive field, not even close. So, like that's just for those people that think that I'm only looking at it for one, potential aspect. I'm not. The women's football league was absolutely amazing. It was hard hitting. It was, determination. Like it had everything. And, you literally watched that. You had no idea who was going to win. It didn't matter if this guy
Yeah,
ran a
it
four
was it was
four or a 4-2, you
it was
know?
I watched a couple of games, and my thing was I've they they didn't wear protection like a regular football game, and maybe that's why they decided to discontinue because I can see a lot of physical injury occurring because some women hit hard. I think if one of them hit me, they'll knock me
Oh,
right over.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So, I was like, there was once or twice I was like, oh, man, I'm like,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? So it could have been that. I wouldn't mind them if that was the reason, them coming back and having them in the regular gear. You know what I'm saying? Because just like you said, they were interesting. They
Yo,
did have
but
techniques. They did have talent. That's what I guess that's the word. They had talent. Um,
talent.
some of the
Absolutely.
speed that some of these women have, I was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Right.
their their capabilities and their physical fatigue was like really impressive. And I get where you came from.
Right.
It was actually,
Right.
you will watch the game and it wasn't something to hey, we're on Roku. It wasn't to arouse anybody. It was more you were actually will be rooting and cheering on your favorite player or your favorite team for
Right. Right.
because for a minute there with their like I said, with their physical appearances, um with their running, they were as much competitive. I wouldn't mind to see a real football team even play with a women's football because uh,
Right.
I think that would be a good game, man. Honestly, I would love to see some. I will pay money to watch that because I think some of these women will knock the crap out of some of these big guys, man.
Right. Absolutely. So they were out there putting it all on the line, doing everything they needed to do. And let's be honest about it. Some women are actually absolutely tough.
Oh yeah.
And when we talk about like, women in a competitive era, like even women's wrestling, let's
Hmm.
let's not forget that Glow, like, Glamorous Ladies of Wrestling changed women's wrestling for the entire world.
Hmm.
Let's not forget that. So like, I want to give them props when props is due. And I think that the exploitation part of it kind of came in. Like, we can't have them dressed the same way as the guys because they're not built the same way as the guys. You look at like William the Refrigerator Perry, and then look at they're
Yeah.
not built the same way. So it's like, now if we can have a modified outfit for them, great.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want to make sure that they're safe, they're protected, and everything like that. We want to make sure that. But it's just, I miss watching those games. I miss looking at the tournaments. I miss looking at the intensity. It felt like, back when Ray Lewis, for the Baltimore Ravens, it felt like he was still playing because some of that intensity and that passion was still there. And I miss that. I miss watching a game with a team that was that intense, that was determined to win, that you could see it all on the line. You don't really see that in the NFL now anymore either.
No, yeah, yeah. It kind of. I was just about to mention that. I used to watch football a lot, and believe it or not, my favorite team is the Steelers, and I don't know. It just the for me, I still have the inspiration, and I still would love getting up and watching a baseball game rather than the NFL right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what's going to happen in baseball. But in football now, NFL, I don't know. I lost that. Okay, I got to get home to watch the game. I've lost that. It's been a couple of years I've lost that. But I still have a little bit, and I'm glad I still have a little bit towards baseball. I still want to, my favorite team is the Yankees. Obviously, I'm from New York, and I want to go watch my game. If I'm somewhere, I'm trying to speed up, man, I can't miss this game, you know? And I still have that enthusiasm, that I don't know, that spirit of watching the game. And I used to be like that with football, but I've lost it in the last couple of years. I'm kind of like the football has not impressed me enough. It's I think it's repetitive now. For me, it's become repetitive. Some of the same plays, some of it's just I'm kind of like I'm still waiting for if, I hate to put it a layup by Jordan. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking. I'm looking for that special guy to put me back into the game. Now I could get that feeling now from just getting on the game, on my PS5 with my son and playing football. You know what I mean? So that's
Yep.
that's my thing here. Um, Closing remarks before we go. Well, not closing remarks. We're gonna go into a quick commercial, and we're gonna get our co-host Roxy, that's in the back with Carasaf, and we're gonna be back with their live with the interview. But last minute words.
Wassa wassa.
We'll be right back right after these messages with the exclusive and everybody's been waiting for the bachata artist Carasaf interview. We'll be right back right after these short messages. Wasa wasa. Everybody, this is Wasa Wasa from the Wasa Wasa Show, and I'm here back with my co-host. Hey,
Reels.
Roxy Rios. We haven't seen you for a while. Hace tiempo que no te vemos. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Dónde estás?
No.
Dime.
I've been recovering from the surgery and actually, in my transition, moved to Florida. So now I'm back on, working hard, but I am back.
Oh, qué bueno. Oh, qué bueno, qué bueno. With me and you got the English and Spanish, so it's gonna be easy with I know the new
I hope
person we got coming on.
I
So,
hope our viewers appreciate our Spanglish.
Spanglish, ¿verdad? So, hoy tenemos un cantante de Santo Domingo que se llama Carasaf. y ahora mismo lo vamos a introducir. La Carasaf, ¿cómo estamos?
Bueno, todo bien aquí, compartiendo con ustedes, feliz y contento de que me contacten y así me hagan conocer en su público.
Entonces, escribiste una canción que se llama Infeliz, ¿correcto?
Y señora,
Ah,
esta canción que está dando unas cuantas vueltas por el mundo ahora mismo, gracias al
ok.
universo, a Dios, en lo que ustedes crean, no importa.
¿Y cuándo salió la canción?
La canción se lo hace 3 meses, pero tiene un mes que se ha hecho viral en las redes.
So, Carasaf, ¿dónde tú piensas que tu canciones ya está, está dando duro? Instagram, Facebook, ¿dónde tú piensas que de verdad te está publicando tus canciones y tu video?
En Instagram está muy viral, en Instagram.
En Instagram.
Mucha gente está compartiendo el reel, ya lleva
Ajá.
mucho. Incluso la viralización de ese reel llevan, algunos videos de lo que yo subo llevan ya muchos videos de varios millones de reproducciones y de compartidos, mucho, mucho, mucho.
Wow.
So, yo te vi en Puerto Rico con Daddy Yankee. Dime cómo eso pasó y yo lo vi que estaba cantando hasta tu canción, te estaba cantando y dije, oye, mira.
Tú caíste en el gancho, ese no es Daddy Yankee, ese era un doble de Daddy Yankee que estaba en
No.
mi país.
Wow.
De
Te cogí de
verdad.
Pero sí estuve ahora en Miami con Pepe Aguilar, nuestro gran Pepe, querido Pepe mexicano,
wow,
cantante de rancheras, y tuve
wow.
una reunión con él por esa canción.
Qué
Ah,
bueno, qué bueno. Y entonces, ¿a quién se la dedicas esta canción si la dedicaste a alguna persona? ¿A nadie?
Esa canción va dedicada a todas esas personas que se meten en tu vida sin permiso, que quieren
Ajá.
opinar sobre lo tuyo, que según ellos le llaman críticas constructivas o como ellos quieran decirle, y recordarle a la gente que no todo el mundo aplica para dar consejos. Para tú dar un consejo tiene que estar bien alineado y predicar con el ejemplo.
Ah, ¿y ya está pegada en el radio o todavía no?
Aquí en República Dominicana suenan algunas emisoras de radio, no todas, pero sí suenan muchas. En la calle ya todos los dominicanos la conocen, ya saben cuál canción es. Y yo creo que es cuestión de tiempo de que haga un boom, porque la están escuchando no solo en mi país, la están escuchando mucho en Europa, la están escuchando mucho en América. En donde quiera que se hable español, la están escuchando. Ahora noto que la están escuchando en Brasil, que no se escucha español, pero ellos la están entendiendo, me escriben los brasileños que le está gustando.
no, pero tú sabes que en Brasil ellos hablan portugués, pero suena mucho a español y se entiende.
Exacto.
Y más ellos van a la escuela en Brasil para aprender el español. Porque yo tenía una esposa que era de Brasil y ella entendía, fíjate, pues, español, ellos saben de todo y se le pega el español, la canción, bachata, salsa, fíjate, ellos están a punto ahí. So, eso es algo bueno, que Brasil, mucha gente le gusta. Y una pregunta también, porque estamos hablando de la semana pasada y me estabas hablando que tú estabas en Miami, viniste aquí en Miami, ¿cómo te gustó?
Sí, Miami fue un vuelo de un día, fue solamente 24 horas. Yo fui a cenar con Pepe Aguilar porque a él le gustó mi bachata, le gustó el proyecto, me dice que me ve como algo interesante y que vamos a hablar de firma y eso, él tiene dos disqueras y dentro de una de ellas dice que yo puedo estar allá. Esta
Ajá.
semana me imagino que ya terminaríamos el proceso de papeles y documentos para firmar ese contrato.
¿Y cómo te sientes de eso?
Estoy alegre, estoy ansioso porque que te llame Pepe Aguilar y te invite a cenar es algo que no me lo esperaba. Para los que no conocen a Pepe Aguilar es un mexicano de los mexicanos más famosos del mundo. Es un súper cantante. Su familia entera es una dinastía de cantantes, hijo de cantantes, padre de cantantes, famosos también. Y para mí fue un honor inmenso, fue una locura. Yo fui nervioso, pero
Wow.
gracias a Dios nos comunicamos y nos sentimos cómodos en la vibra de nosotros.
Wow, qué cosa más grande, wow. Eso sí es grande. Y entonces yo vi por ahí que vas a salir con una película, ¿es correcto?
Hay varias películas en camino, como está la película más próxima que es la Reina del Merengue, Mili Quesada, que filmamos hace poco en Nueva York, hace ya un mes que estuvimos allá filmando. Y hay otras más, pero esas no voy a decir nada porque todavía están en proceso grande.
¿Cómo te gustó este Nueva York? Porque allá eso está lleno de boricuas y dominicanos. ¿Cómo lo pasaste bien? ¿Estabas en un tiempo allá o 24 horas también? ¿Cómo fue eso?
Nueva York, yo he ido mucho desde el 2017, he ido mucho a Nueva York. Al año voy 2 o 3 veces. Y siempre me disfruto Nueva York. Prefiero ir así en verano, porque el verano es más chulo. El frío no lo soporto, es muy fuerte. Y fuimos en verano, sí, para filmar. Fue una chulería, el clima. Andar en la calle caminando no era lo mismo que andar en ese invierno cruel que tiene la ciudad de Nueva York.
¿No te gusta la nieve? ¿No te gusta la nieve?
Nah,
Una pregunta tú dijiste para una persona, para cualquiera de que tú dedicabas esa canción infeliz para cualquiera, pero yo sé que hay una historia atrás de esa canción. Dímela, explícale a Raxi ahí la aplicación de esa de
Sí,
infeliz.
me quiero saber.
la historia fue porque un hermano mío, alguien que estaba aprendiendo del trabajo de mi hermano para él superarse, mi hermano era el cabecilla haciendo eso, ¿no? El mejor haciendo eso. Y esa persona comenzó a seguirlo y a compartir con él para aprender del negocio de mi hermano. Y esa persona le fue a aconsejar, a decirle, mira, tú deberías de hacer las cosas así y así. Mi hermano, pero espérate, pero tú todavía no has empezado y ya tú estás dando clases de cómo hacer las cosas. Cuando tú mejores la forma en que hacemos esto, yo me guiaría de ti. Pero por ahora tú no puedes dar clases de lo que tú estás entrando a conocer. Y mi hermano me contó eso y de inmediatamente se me ocurrió esa canción porque no solo a mi hermano, también a mí. Mucha gente me aconseja de cómo hacer mis cosas. Como soy muy popular aquí en el país, la gente piensa que la gente es la que te guía. Y yo soy muy directo hablándole a la gente. Por ejemplo, yo tuve una carrera de comediante en mi país. Yo fui
Mm,
comediante del 2012 hasta el 2015 en República Dominicana. Muy viral, muy conocido. Me di a conocer en esa fecha. Entonces, de 2015 guardé la comedia porque entendí, me fui de gira por el mundo, anduve a Europa, Estados Unidos, todo eso. Bueno, no, Estados Unidos anduve el 2017, pero también tuve que ir por misiones de la comedia. Como la gente me conocía como comediante, la gente creía que mi mejor faceta en la vida era ser comediante. Y cuando comencé a trabajar para la música, me decían, déjate de eso, sigue en lo que tú eres, sigue en tu zona de confort. Y yo no me gusta que opinen sobre mi cosa. Y por eso cuando oí que mi hermano le opinaron sobre sus cosas, me identifiqué y dije, coño, pero hay una canción buena para esa vaina, porque la gente que más le gustan decir lo que tú tienes que hacer y ellos no hacen lo que tienen que hacer ellos.
¿Verdad?
E
Hay
hice
uno
esa canción.
que seguir los sueños de uno para ser grande.
Yo, si tú me vienes a hablar en contra de un sueño mío, somos enemigos inmediatamente, porque yo no me meto en los sueños de nadie.
¿Verdad? ¿Verdad?
so, en este momento vamos a tocar la música ahí en feliz
Sí,
con
vamos.
Carasaf.
Tráguese su maldito consejo si yo no se lo he pedido. No venga con crítica constructiva si usted nada ha construido. Como no puede llegar a meter la pasa criticando todo lo mío. Aconséjate tú mismo porque cada vez te veo más jodido. Enfócate en tu jugada y deja de estar opinando. Tu humilde opinión no sirve si te está llevando el diablo. Si manejando tu vida tú te la pasas chocando, mejor pídeme los trucos, deja de estar criticando, infeliz. Mejor cierra el pico y aprende de mí. Se te nota la envidia, infeliz. Te duele aceptar que está abajo de mí. Por tu maldita dema, infeliz. Mejor cierra el pico y aprende de mí. Se te nota la envidia, infeliz. Te duele aceptar que está abajo de mí. Por cabrón, hijo de puta, infeliz. ese es su maldito consejo si yo no se lo he pedido. No venga con crítica constructiva si usted nada ha construido. Enfócate en tu jugada y deja de estar opinando. Tu humilde opinión no sirve si te está llevando el diablo. Si manejando tu vida tú te la pasas chocando, mejor pídeme los trucos, deja de estar criticando, infeliz. Mejor cierra el pico y aprende de mí. Se te nota la envidia, infeliz. Te duele aceptar que está abajo de mí. Por tu maldita dema, infeliz. Mejor cierra el pico y aprende de mí. Se te nota la envidia, infeliz. Te duele aceptar que está abajo de mí. Por cabrón, hijo de puta, infeliz.
Hey, welcome back to the Wasa Wasa Show. You're here with Wasa Wasa and my co-host Roxy Rios. Y estamos aquí vivo con Carasaf. Y esa fue la canción En Feliz. Carasaf, gracias por esa canción.
Ese video lo produjo Pablo Green, un gran productor dominicano. Y la edición, sí, ese le hizo él también, todo lo hizo Pablo Green. Ahora recuerdo. Yo hago la edición de mis videos, la mayoría, pero ese lo hizo Pablo Green.
Wow, wow. Otra pregunta. Ahora, yo sé que En Feliz está saliendo mucho y está por TikTok, Instagram, está donde quiera. ¿Cuál otra canciones que tú tienes? Yo escuché otra que me está gustando también y yo dije, wow, esta está pegando también. Dime de esa canción.
Yo salí con 10 bachatas. 10 bachatas, que son un álbum pequeño de 10, porque hoy en día no se puede hacer tanto, porque la rapidez en la que se consumen los materiales, es mejor andarles rápido. Entonces yo hice 10 canciones, el álbum se llama Yo Sé, dentro de esas 10 canciones está Infeliz, está Ya Me Cansé, que es otra muy parecida a Infeliz, que es sobre los malos amigos, está Odio Estar Despierto, tenemos Quitémonos la Ropa y unas cuantas canciones más que están ahí, que los nombres en orden tendría que leerlo.
Well, ok, en este momento aquí vamos a escuchar la canción Ya Me Cansé de Carasaf.
Ya me cansé de esos babosos habladores que se disfrazan de pana, que dicen ser mis amigos. Ya me cansé de esa pandilla de pendejos que de lejos se le ve la dema que tienen conmigo. Porque el día en que a mí me esté llevando el carajo, antes de que 3 veces cante un gallo ellos me negarán. Ya me cansé de esos ratreros vividores que se disfrazan del mano y en verdad son enemigos. Saben que tú tienes los poderes y te rondan porque te necesitan. Saben que tú tienes todos los códigos y se hacen tu panita. Pero no saben que también yo sé que son traicioneros y que me quieren joder, que buscan la oportunidad perfecta pa' meterme el pie, un cuchillo clavado en mi espalda, es lo que quieren ver. Tan loquitos que me muera pa' beberse mi café y de frente me la chupan y se la quieren beber. Por cabrones como ustedes, mucha gente que no creen en los amigos. Ya me cansé de esos babosos habladores que se disfrazan de pana, que dicen ser mis amigos. Ya me cansé de esa pandilla de pendejos que de lejos se le ve la dema que tienen conmigo. Porque el día en que a mí me esté llevando el carajo, antes de que 3 veces cante un gallo ellos me negarán. Ya me cansé de esos ratreros vividores que se disfrazan del mano y en verdad son enemigos. Pana mío, ya vi que tú solo jalas pa' ti, que tú eres un maldito infeliz. De frente me dice que tú eres mi hermano mano y de espalda la pila de mierda de mí. Contigo aprendí que andan cabrones por ahí, que la fiesta a veces feliz. Si ven tu progreso se llenan de odio, la envidia los mata y se ponen pa' ti.
Ya regresamos al Wasa Wasa Show con la canción Ya me cansé de Carasaf. So, Carasaf, ¿qué es lo que tú le quieres decir a tu público, a la gente que se están siguiendo, te están apoyando? ¿Qué es lo qué mensaje tú le quieres dar a ellos?
Solo le puedo decir que bienvenidos. Espero que entren a mi mundo porque les gusta, pero no vengan a decirme qué hacer, porque
Matar
les
sueño.
digo la canción.
A matar sueño. No, señor.
Bienvenidos a todos y gracias por el apoyo. Esto es arte, lo que yo hago. Si mi arte te gusta, venga y apóyelo. Si no le gusta, siga. O sea, sí, yo no quiero que nadie me quiera porque yo le diga, ven a quererme. No, yo me lo debo ganar.
Ah, qué lindo.
Las preguntas, Roxy.
No, solo quiero darle las gracias por estar aquí con nosotros y participar en nuestro show. Gracias.
Gracias a ustedes por darme la oportunidad. Bendiciones. Un abrazo gigante.
Wasa Wasa. Gracias por estar en el show de Wasa Wasa.
Gracias.
All right, thank you for tuning in, guys. This is Wasa Wasa from the Wasa Wasa Show with Roxy Reels, and we just had a live interview with Carasaf, and this is gonna be on the Roku device, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and I got everything, Roxy, and we're gonna be all over with the live interview with Carasaf from Santo Domingo. This is Wasa 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 Wasa.